Hello and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host Bryan. A few months ago, maybe more, time warps weird. It doesn't feel like it was that long ago. We checked out a track from a new Australian band, Breed. If you're interested in that, I'll put the link up there. Today though, we're going to check out something new from them. This came out only a couple of weeks ago. This is called Waltz. I believe it is their latest music video, and I really enjoyed the last time we checked them out. Been looking forward to some new stuff. So let's dive in and see what Breed is bringing to the table today. Pretty steady 4/4 here. A haunting atmosphere.
Got the problem with the pain of living forever. How dare you win the prize of a body that will not fade nor falter?
That's what I thought. We're losing half of a beat every fourth bar. So 4/4, 4/4, 4/4, 7/8.
Time has passed since we last spoke.
I couldn't figure out why I got off beat that first time. They're keeping this atmosphere though. Bass and drums laying down the low ends. The guitar giving us the atmosphere. Backup vocal. I like the hi-hat work too. Ooh. So is that a 9? Yeah. There's so much tension. This song's ready to explode now with 2. There we go. A little harsh into that operatic vocal. So bringing some chord progression to this rhythmic idea. Okay, so some panic chords, intense strumming. All right. Well, I can see now the previous track was called Precious Remedies Against Wanting Nothing, the Little Song of Calm. I think off of a first time listen, I enjoyed that one more, though I'm definitely going to chalk that up to my own tastes. This one was primarily textural compared to that last one. And I'm usually I'm not too much of a just groove on a texture kind of guy. But I appreciate that there are plenty of people who enjoy that kind of music. I'm not going to hold it against them. This is definitely something on my side. It's my biases coming into this. I do like, however, the general growth and expansion of this track. All four of these sections are kind of built off of one another despite the intensity continuing to rise. There is a connectivity between all of them, despite, not just the aggression that changes in them and the general feeling of tension, but also time signature. There is a lot of growth and alteration between these sections, and yet they're all sort of connected on like the foundational element, the blueprint of the song. I think that's what we need to focus on first. What is the heart of this track? How can we break down all of these sections into something comparable? They all hyper focus on atmosphere, with the drummer giving us a consistent backbeat and the string work, the bass and the guitars, giving us an atmosphere, a texture, not so much riff writing as far as memorable melodic ideas, but certainly using the instruments to craft an atmosphere through both texture and harmony. This process of how to build up any section of this song is consistent from moment to moment. No matter how intense the track is, how it gets, what feeling a section is going for, they're all based around this. The drums are the metronome. The bass also kind of metronome, plays around with the bass kick on the drum kit. The guitars are texture. They set the atmosphere, and the vocalist delivers the story through their vocal delivery. What starts out as calming, almost airy, a breathiness to it, turns into these wide, vocals aimed for like the back of the mouth, projected out of the back of the throat, just raw, really big tones, and then eventually moving into the harshes. All of this tells us a story of the vocalist, the narrator within this atmosphere. When you listen to the instruments, you can listen to the rising tension through all of that. It tells a story. All of this is storytelling, and it is linear rising. And the linear element to this, I think, is what gives it its flair. There's no verse-chorus structure in this. It's just A, B, C, D, song ends, done. And we can see a gradual evolution, not just in volume. Of course, the song starts out the quietest. The guitar is just a couple of notes on a clean electric with some reverb pushed into the back of the mix. We have the drums and bass holding down the low end, and the vocals a bit quieter and airier on top of all of that. It's a very empty section to the track. It feels spacious, devoid of physical objects. The next section brings in a groove to it. We have a bit of a more memorable rhythm to it. Sorry, not rhythm, melody coming off of the guitars. The drums are a little more complex. The vocalist is belting a little bit more, forward projection here, and not so withdrawn, but now extended outward. The volumes come up, and we begin to see some of that eerie sound from the beginning turn into a bit of anger. The guitars are distorted and overdriven here, and the last two beats of every riff, they've got some punch to it. We got 7 beats of a moving melody, then bum, 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 back to the melody itself. That 8th and 9th beat are heavy, they're punchy, they're weighty, they're the lowest notes, I believe, in the entire riff. it gives momentum, it gives intensity, it gives direction, but it also feels larger. It's not just this little sound in the background that's reverberating more than anything. It is forward placed. You can't miss this. It has physicality, it has punch to it, it has weight. Massive shift here. We eventually get some harsh vocals on top of this, and the vocalist is kind of mixing and blending the cleans to the harshes, which I think is a really nice way of transitioning into the full-on harsh stuff that we see at the end of the track. And then, of course, the final moments are the most intense as we get the panic chords off on the side. That's that me, 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 that little alarm going off in the corner, that half-step dyad. Yeah, this part of the track is the most intense, the most off-putting, the most alarming, the most anxious. It is also the loudest, and it is where every instrument is full-on present. Nobody's holding back at this point anymore. The drum lick is the most complex it has been. The guitar is maybe not the most complex they've been, but definitely the most present and felt. As far as texture, weight, and sound goes, this is the biggest moment for the guitars. And the vocalist just off in the corner screaming. He's got things that need to be said. So we take this and then we wrap the song up almost on a halftime feel as we have these big, weighty moments that just come in every couple of beats. I think it is every couple of beats, actually. And it brings all of this energy to a head, bringing that spaciousness back from the beginning, but reinterpreting it. It isn't a loneliness, but it's the weight of silence amidst a larger sound. It's the space between the giant's steps. It's where the vibrations have kind of simmered down and the world's not shaking anymore, but you know the next one is coming. It's a different kind of silence. Not one to fill, but one that hopefully sticks around, that next foot never drops. I think it's a great way to bring all of this together. As for the general story here, I don't know. It could be a lot of things. We do have general unease, eeriness at the beginning that leads way to anger, leads into tension, and then I would say at the very end, fear of some sort. And with the rising intensity of layers and volumes across this, we could see a general story of someone in a position that they shouldn't be in, or a place that they shouldn't be in. There's something dangerous around them. And as we get through this track, that danger is becoming more present, less on the periphery, more known, and drives the fight or flight instinct into, presumably because of the panic chords at the end, flight. The finale of the song seems as if they're too deep into this now and there's no way to escape. They're just stuck here and eventually possibly meeting their demise. That's what I get out of the song. As I mentioned earlier, it is very singular focus though. Each section by itself is just the thing. There's not really a lot of melody in here, especially once the song kicks in and the vocals shift to harshes. We have some cool guitar riffs, but a lot of it is focusing on the rhythm, the syncopation, and the emotional atmosphere of this track. It absolutely works. It tells the story that I think it's trying to tell, but it just is not my cup of tea. I'm kind of missing some of the, I don't know, I guess we could call it fun that we heard in the last track of theirs. This one isn't completely devoid of fun. I love the vocal dexterity in this track, and I think that there are some moments in there that, I don't know if I'd call them fun per se, but they're definitely unique in a creative way that could be read as fun. But it feels, well, as serious as I think the topic is that they're aiming for. The last thing I want to bring up real quick, I don't know that I have a lot to add to this. It is called a wet waltz. Waltz is known for being in 3/4. Yeah, we kind of don't have that in here. I thought the song started off in a 4/4, but it actually started off in alternating 3 bars of 4 and then a bar of 7/8. Or we would never write it this way, but if you want to think about it as 3.5 beats, you can. 3 bars of 4 and then a bar of 3.5. So we lose half of a beat on the full 16-beat phrase. It lurches forward in a way that's unexpected. It actually did catch me off guard. 95% of this bar at least appears to be in 4/4. You really only get caught off at the end, the last second of a 7 to 10 second riff. It threw me for a while. It took me a few repetitions to pick up on that. After this, though, we shifted into a 9/8 or possibly a 9/4. And of course, that could be broken up into 3 bars of 3. That would give us our 9. In which case, we do have a 3/4 here, but I'm going to tell you it doesn't feel very waltzy because the riff itself, as I mentioned earlier, is like an 8-beat phrase with a 1-beat extension. Instead of preparing the leading tone on beat 7, resolving it on 8 so we can loop the idea over again to beat 1, 7 is a continuance of the idea, beat 8 is the leading tone, and then, well, we still need to resolve things, so we added an extra 9th beat to this. The waltz specifically has a very specific rhythm to it. Heavy emphasis on 1, lighter emphasis on 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, da 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 da, 1, 2 is very cliche waltz idea right there. I don't really feel any of that in this track. We do technically have a way to subdivide this into 3/4. It matches a time signature, but I'm not really getting the waltzy sound. And then of course the track ends in a proper 4/4 with no additional beat and no cutting off. Actually, that is interesting. The beginning gives us a 4/4, but sometimes, or every 4th bar, it cuts off half of a beat. And then as I just mentioned, the 9/4 section is 4/4, but every other bar has an extra beat to it. We kind of don't get this normalized, fully realized 4/4 idea until the end of the track. I wonder what that's supposed to represent. I don't know. It's not like we ever enter into something that is 9/8 or 9/4 that feels like it's supposed to be in 5. Maybe it should have been 10, but we were cut off. No, the 9 specifically feels like an extension. And we lurch out of that 7/8 in the 4th bar of the opening. It comes too early. It always feels like we're just missing something or have too much of something. And by the time we get it, the song is at its most intense. Be careful what you wish for? I don't know. Let me hit some lyrics on this, see what they're singing about. Maybe we can piece some of this together. Well, the song talks about a relationship. Platonic, romantic, not sure. That there was a falling out on. Maybe this was something that our narrator believed should have lasted forever, and now it's not. Now it only brings pain, knowing this other person. All of this is done through the lens of an immortal. It says, you were part of the problem with the pain of living forever. That's the very first line. Living forever should have been great. Instead, I have to live forever with you. It says, how dare you win the prize of a body that would not fade or falter? You were everything I wanted, hoped, and dreamed, but now just a faded vessel. I don't know how much time has passed since we last spoke. I wonder if the general pop culture understanding of living forever and the eternalness of loneliness is supposed to play into this. It would be external to the lyrics. I don't believe anything in here references that. But the idea of living forever while no one else around you does is an incredibly sad experience. losing everyone you love and possibly getting to the point of closing yourself off to connection because you don't want to lose anyone. You will outlive everyone you know. And here, though, the problem is solved. To know someone who you enjoy being around, who also has a body that will not fade or falter. And yet, despite that, the relationship sours. You were everything I wanted, but now I don't remember the last time we spoke. Eternity is once again lonely. It says the words are heavy, but not enough to choke on. I am coming home. But each day is the same subset of strife. The riddle rock of waves on the night, the slaving slant, no slipping back, men at 9 declining slack. I don't know what to feel as years feel like seconds in this wet waltz groove. Being around you should have been paradise, and instead it's just toxic. It feels like drowning, having nowhere to stand, nowhere to call your own, adrift forever. It turns years into seconds. Says you were all I had, all I am and all I was, but you ended up being a vagabond in my mind. Someone who came and went. I was hoping for something permanent. You weren't. Calls themselves the drowned god of living too long. All alone on a rock that would boil the sea. The very end is just the two statements, hornet, boil me alive. I don't know about the hornet line, but the boiling part is very interesting, given that he feels he is a drowned god, constantly using metaphors of being lost at sea, the loneliness of being alone with no land in sight. No comfort, no safety, no home, no roof. And the final idea is boil me alive. The metaphors of the ocean, this is a rising heat within it, making something already uncomfortable even worse. I wonder then if that is a command, if they are tired of living forever and wish to be boiled, or if it's simply a description of their environment. The feeling of being boiled alive. I have no idea what the hornet line is, though. If someone has any thoughts on that, let me know. But yeah, this escalates rather quickly. It starts out just sad. You know, we were supposed to be immortal together, and we're not. And that sucks. That's the first few lines. And then it's anger. Anger about life being so full of, as he says, the same subset of strife. Every day just being conflict with you. A different conflict, but similar. And then the fear at the end. That this is all that's left. Washed out at sea. Hopeless. Boiling alive. That's the panic chords. Rising temperature, realizing what's going on, I believe. Yeah, really well done. I think that the music conveys a lot of this story. The lyrics help fill in the gaps, or vice versa, however you want to view that. I'm usually a music first kind of guy, but you know, the lyrics certainly have their gaps and the music helped fill that in too. These are my thoughts then. Breed's Wet Waltz. What did you think of this? Is there anything that stood out to you? Anything that you'd like to add on to what I said or correct me on? Do you have your own take, perspective, or opinion on this? Let me know. Put all of that and anything else you'd like to add into the comments section below. Above that, in the description box, I will have some links for Breed, any social media streaming services that I can find, their YouTube. I I think they sent me a link tree, so I might throw that in there too. That'll just be like a one-stop shop for everything Breed. Yeah, so go ahead and check that out. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. If you head on over to any of their stuff, do the same for them. Stars, thumbs up, hearts, whatever it is. Show them some love from this community. It's going to wrap it up for today. I'll be back tomorrow, though, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC as usual. We're going to check out a full album. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.